What's going on, guys? So I am here at the Newmar booth taking a look at some of their Class A's, and they have a Super C here, but these are some beautiful coaches, and they just revealed this one. So let's take a walk inside of this coach and see what it's all about. This is a beautiful rig. This is the 3343 New Air. Going up the steps. I hope nobody's in here. Oh, look who it is!
You can't get any privacy in these RVs here.
These displays, yeah.
I told you we should have locked the door.
I thought you put a deposit.
Seriously, I mean, I'm the geek, and I always have to run into other geeks. This is just,
What's
man.
going on, JD? Good to see you.
Hey, very good to see you, and great to finally meet you guys.
Exactly. Hey.
You know, it is an honor to actually be here with y'all because I watch your video and I watch your channels, and you have some really, really great educational content for people.
Well, thank you very much. We really appreciate that, and it's a pleasure to have you here on board our New Air.
Yeah, this thing is gorgeous.
Yeah. Have you been at the show for very long?
I arrived yesterday around noon, and I walked the floor as much as I could, but there's just so much here. It's actually hard to film it because transitioning from one coach to another, and then you get on a coach where there's 15 people that are having a party inside of it, and it's just...
There's a couple of guys clogging everything up, sitting in the seats.
Hey, but you know what? It is really, really great to finally meet you guys.
Well, it's great to meet you, too, and we were excited to find out that you were going to be here at the show, and a fun fact, of course, for everyone who watches your channel is that when we met, we could not approach you to say, hey, how you doing, JD? Because we didn't know what you looked like.
Yeah. So I kind of walked up and I stood next to them and acted like I was the fan that I am. And
we saw how you flipped your name badge around so we wouldn't see.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, we liked that, and but now we know what you look like, so now we can hold you for ransom because we can blackmail you, tell people we'll describe you online if you're not nice to us.
Yeah, you'll get a sketch artist, right? Yeah.
Hey, that's great.
Oh no, we were filming before without you realizing it.
Oh yeah. They have cameras in their glasses.
Yeah, right.
That's it. These are all Google Glass.
Yeah. But you know what? It is really great to meet you guys. You know, when you do the YouTube thing, and I think a lot of people call it the YouTube thing, you don't get too many opportunities really to run into other YouTubers, especially people with a relatively sizable channel like ours, right?
Well,
and
you're always busy sitting behind the camera, behind the computer, editing video.
It's true, and you know, it's funny. No matter how many videos I do, and I know you guys can relate to this, people generally don't understand the labor that goes into making a video, even a simple one.
Well, props to you because you put out a ton of content, fantastic content.
Thank you.
And you really do, and we strive to put out more. We have, I know that people see us in a 43-foot motorhome and they think that we're rich and don't work.
That would be nice.
We do have a mortgage on that. We work a regular day job to pay for that. We design websites, and it does preclude us from putting out as much content as we would like. However, there's another thing that we've run across that makes it more difficult to put out a lot of content, and that is when you accidentally start to have a larger audience, you start to feel pressure.
Yeah.
And you realize, oh, I don't have 2,000 or 3,000 people anymore. I have this many thousand or however many. You suddenly start to feel that pressure, and that, for us, has made us feel like we have to up the production values more and more, and
slows things down a lot.
I don't mean to complain, and
That's true.
I'm really not, but there's talk sometimes about the value of kind of backing down a little bit on spending so much time editing just to get more content out, and we're a little torn by that.
Maybe do more lives.
We did our very first live yesterday from here at the show, and it's the first time we ever just literally, without announcing it, popped up on screen.
Yeah, and it's a constant battle. You're right. You have to weigh the benefits of production quality with the cost of production time and time to market, right? When you produce that video and you decide to publish it, how much time do you have before you have to produce your next video and publish it? And when at some point do you, and if you run out of content, what do you do? Right, so I'm kind of benefited in my channel that I have such a broad range of content, from trucks to towing to I can do Class A, B, C's, and it gives me more and more content to talk about. But the more content you talk about, the more editing you have to do, the more time you spend. And most people will never understand that if you want to get into doing YouTube videos, it's not that difficult until you get to the point that you understand how much time it truly takes to edit a video and how much you have to work on your own presentation. That's a big piece of it. Presentation skills and the ability for you to talk in a way that people can follow and be, entertained by, but more importantly, want to come back and watch more is something that you need to work on. It's a craft.
It's a muscle.
And
Absolutely.
There's another aspect, too, that you touched on just a moment ago, which is how broad your topics are, how broad your subject matter is. So, for example, we have lived in Class A diesel pushers only. We've been full-timing for 16 years, and 14 of those years have been in the same Newmar Mountain Air that we've had since 2005. Well, as a result, because of the fact that our DIY videos focus mostly on systems, maintenance, upgrades, and repairs of our own rig, kind of by default, a lot of our channel tends to center around Class A rigs, and much of it doesn't apply. Now, in your case, you have to have a broader range of knowledge and interest and expertise than we do, because you're talking about more classes of RVs and more types of trucks. And we are a little limited that way because we focus so much on this one area. So what you're doing is more difficult to us because it's broader.
Yeah, right.
Even though it gives me more content, at the same time, you have to understand every piece of information. Because I think, as everybody knows, everybody's a YouTube engineer. So the minute you show something and the worst thing you can do is put a bunch of engineers in the room. You can't.
You can't. Once that video's live, it's live.
You're absolutely right. There's so many times people have caught me driving in the wrong lane, and they're going to say, switch lanes. I already did. I did a month ago. Yeah. I'm not in that lane anymore. Trust me, you don't have to point that out.
But it's a nice fact that they feel that it's so in the moment when they're watching your video that they want you to move over right then and there.
Absolutely, absolutely. But it's fun, doing it is fun. There is pressure. I think pressure that people generally don't think about. I've tried to help a couple of my good friends. One of them has really great content on fishing, shark fishing, does some great stuff. And he's a Marine, and I would say former Marine, but I really don't know how you say that because nobody's ever a former Marine, right?
Right.
But he's a Marine. He is one of the hardest working people I know. But when it comes to making YouTube videos, he's really understanding the challenge of actually filming, editing, producing, and getting it out there. And more importantly, the skill, that muscle memory, really applies to when it comes to editing. You figure out techniques. If I edited a video today the way I edited it when I did my first 10 videos, I couldn't do a video every day. It'd be impossible.
I can't watch my first 10 videos.
Yeah.
Because the way we started making videos was to help friends out who had recently bought an RV and had questions about it. And we thought, I did it in the beginning by myself. And I'm like, okay, I'll show them how to dump the tank or how to do this or how to do that. And I would take a camera in one hand and a screwdriver or a tool in the other hand, and I would just stand there, So a lot of our earlier videos are me on a ladder with no tripod, no production values, single track, just doing the work as I'm filming it, as I'm speaking it. And when we would find that didn't always work so well when it came to production values. And later on, I did this thing. I invested in a tripod, and that made all the difference in the world, having a tripod there and having things be more stable. And then you add in things like a voice track or a music track or jump cuts or other editing, maybe B-roll, things like that. And once you started doing those things...
There's all the planning that goes into that as well, because it's not something that just happens spontaneously, right? You don't just automatically have all the footage you need. You have to plan in advance. You have to think about what the storyline is going to be, how are you going to piece it all together, and then make sure you have the pieces available to edit into a video that somebody's going to want to watch.
The hardest part is it's very hard to go back.
Yeah.
If I were to go back and stand on a ladder and hold a camera in one hand and a screwdriver in the other to do a video, I don't feel like I can do that. So you're kind of a victim of your own success. And I don't mean to be complaining because I'm not at all. It's very fun and very rewarding, and we wouldn't be here. For anyone who doesn't know, the reason we're here is Newmar asked us to come and host their very big live broadcast, which we just finished doing about less than an hour ago. So if we seem a little hyped up, it's because we've been under this pressure.
Adrenaline rush.
We introduced the president and CEO of Newmar live on camera, and we had to ask him the question he wanted to be asked. So he was a little nervous about being on camera. So He wanted to know in advance what we were going to ask him, so he'd have an answer ready. And it was a little bit of pressure. So at the moment, we're a little hyped up from having that pressure like you talked about.
You know what's funny is public speaking tends to be everyone's number one biggest fear. You know, I once read an interview that a Navy SEAL had, and he was more afraid of public speaking than he was going into war.
Oh, wow.
So the interesting thing is you kind of hit the point. There's so many presidents and CEOs and directors here at this event, but the minute you want to get them on camera, they let me get somebody else. Let me get somebody else to talk for you.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it's true. It's just people, when they have a script, when they're reading a prompter, it's easier for them to get through it. But the minute you say, let me hold a camera, let's do this raw and live, people tend to get a little bit shy.
I'm thinking that's where Google Glass would come in really handy, because oftentimes those same people will be so incredibly natural when you're just talking to them about their product or their company, because it's their passion.
Absolutely.
And so if they can ignore the camera, if they didn't know the camera was there, they'd be comfortable. But it's as soon as they see that lens.
Oh, that camera comes out and people freeze.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why I tell people, you know, if you really want to work on your presentation skills, talk to the camera like you're talking to a buddy.
Correct.
You know, you have to just get yourself out of that moment and talk to them as if they're sitting in the chair next to you and you're having a casual conversation with them. And this is something I haven't really shared with people, that's one of the reasons why I used to do my dash cam footage the way I did. And that's why I still do it that way, is because a lot of people said they really enjoyed that feeling of sitting next to me and just kind of having that casual conversation.
Yeah,
Right. Well,
they're along for the ride.
And it's really like any other muscle. You have to exercise it. And part of our comfort in being here today on a bigger scale, where there was a professional camera crew following us around and we were interviewing
Which
the
I really
president of the
liked,
company.
actually. I gotta say, that was nice.
Yes, it was nice to let someone else handle the camera
Exactly.
work. But we would not have been prepared to do that comfortably if we didn't speak on camera on a fairly regular basis. And the more we do it, the easier it becomes.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a matter of fact, our Patreon channel is focused around monthly live Q&A broadcasts, where we go live once a month for about an hour to 90 minutes in front of 100 or so people who are following us on Patreon, and we will speak extemporaneously as we're going. We don't script anything, and I think that if you do that enough, it becomes more natural and easier. And the fact that we're looking into a camera now,
Yeah.
I'm talking to JD.
yeah,
I don't know what you're doing.
we're talking to you, JD, and
I'm staring at y'all.
Exactly.
we're talking to you, and this is not something we could have done a couple of years ago because we didn't have experience with it.
Yeah, or
And
just the comfort.
It's become more natural, and it's actually very
But it
good
is
practice for what we're all doing.
And it is something you can learn. You know, again, it is something you can practice.
Yep. You know, the biggest skill I try to impress upon people who want to get into doing anything like this is breathe. Take a second, pause. Don't believe that every word has to be filled in with another word, and you'll start eliminating the ums and the uhs and the things that make it more difficult to have
I still
sentence.
edit out all my ums and uhs.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'll throw one in just so people know I'm human.
Yeah, right.
But aside from that,
You know what's a good thing too? A laugh. And we recently interviewed someone on camera with 2 cameras and panel lights set up and lavalier mics, really set up for
Really intimidating, yeah.
a 2-camera interview shoot. And he was sweating bullets. And I cracked a joke, and he laughed, and all of a sudden it was easier for him. Because it was like,
Because then he was having a conversation with you. as
right.
opposed
And
to
we
talking to
did
the
a little of the same thing before with John Samut, the VP of Sales of Newmar, when we were touring this very rig about an hour ago. And the pressure again of a live crew, and it's kind of a big deal. It's the first time we've done this. We had a cameraman with a producer standing behind him, giving us signals about how we were going for time, because that was important for the broadcast. We had crew outside monitoring the entire thing. It was going out on a live feed. They had over 1,000 people continuously, averaging about 1,500 the whole time. So it was a very big professional shoot. With all that going on, again, it's just all the experience of having done it. You throw the joke in once in a while, you try to have a real conversation, and it becomes easier. So if somebody's starting out on YouTube, you gave them the best advice, which is you're talking to a friend, take a breath, have a laugh, you'll be fine.
Yep. Well, guys, This video is going to be a long video, but I'm going to air the whole thing because,
Really?
you know, it's kind of a behind-the-scenes approach to things. And
Really, if I had known that, I never would have signed the waiver.
well, I'm sorry, the waiver has to be signed.
The release, I'm sorry, the release.
I was going to say, I'm thinking that the three of us need to go talk and see if we can get the keys to one of these and take them for a joyride.
Yeah, there's plenty of room here.
Yeah, exactly. This is a big convention center.
I gotta
It
say,
is.
I'm gonna throw a shameless plug in because we're so excited about what we just did. If someone has not yet didn't know that we just did this live broadcast from here at the RVX show, if they go to, I think it's going to be available on Newmar's website, and if not, they could go to our website, thervgeeks.com, and there's a post we did saying we'd be here, and that link will take them through to where they can actually watch that real live broadcast. It's probably the most professional we've ever done, and I won't say the most professional.
We haven't seen it yet. We were
No,
on the
I,
other side of the camera.
I wasn't going to say. Hang on, I don't mean the most professional from our performance and our how we did it. I mean the most professional level in terms of staff and crew and expectations. And I like to think we did okay. They seem very happy. So we're again one of the reasons we're a little bit kind of frenetic here at the moment. And if we seem a little talkative, it's because.
That's why we're hiding out here in this new area.
We're kind of
decompressing.
We're kind of excited about what just happened, and our YouTube experience made it possible.
Yeah.
Inside joke, probably 24 frames, right? That's probably what made it
exactly.
made it
Right.
look that good.
Oh yeah, we only shoot at 30. How about you?
Yeah, exactly. But you know what's funny though? At the end of the day, your channel probably will get more views than the event, than what they do. You get more views naturally. So when you think about it that way, how big your audience already is, you're on an everyday basis, you're getting the views that some TV shows would love to get.
Well, I have to say, it's one of the reasons we're here. Newmar contacted us because not only we have a Newmar, and not only do
Are we
know
passionate about the brand?
right? We are passionate about the brand. We love our rig, but it's because we have an audience and they've seen us over time practicing our presentation, prove ourselves to be capable of being good representatives and articulate spokespeople for their company, and real enthusiastic, genuine spokespeople for their company. And I was so pleased. We went over and spoke with Matt afterward, and he was very pleased about everything, and that's all that mattered to us.
I think he was happy he was off camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, most people are so relieved when the camera shuts off.
Well, JD, I want to thank you for having us come in here, and next time you come, would you not, please?
Oh, I'm going to try. Anyways, Peter,
Yeah.
John, I really appreciate it. It is such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Talk to you guys soon. If you haven't had a chance, you need to subscribe to their channel, and it's the RV Geeks. I'll put a link in the description of this video so you can get to their channel. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to mine, then you need to subscribe to my channel, guys.
You should subscribe.
You should absolutely subscribe.
Thanks, guys. Everyone take care.